Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes. Our main headlines tonight.
Daddy, it's starting!
Single one of you's a bit Jesus.
What a wild ride this has been. Well, that's a very blunt question.
Advance is lying to you.
Friends and neighbours, and have confidence that the team will keep you safe.
But now you start to see, yes, the people never happy. It's never enough.
I cannot believe you.
Are you saying that Advance have cured death?
Jog off!
We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
Oh, Megan. We're only getting started. Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes. Our main headlines tonight.
Daddy, it's starting!
Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus.
What a wild ride this has been. Well, that's a very blunt question.
Advance is lying to you.
Friends and neighbours, and have confidence that the team will keep you safe.
But now you start to see, yes, the people never happy. It's never enough.
I cannot believe you.
Are you saying that Advance have cured death?
Jog off!
We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
Oh, Megan. We're only getting started. Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes. Our main headlines tonight.
Daddy, it's starting!
Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus.
What a wild ride this has been. Well, that's a very blunt question.
Advance is lying to you.
Friends and neighbours, and have confidence that the team will keep you safe.
Hola gente, buenas noches.
But now you start to see, yes,
Bienvenidos
the people never
un día
happy.
más
It's never enough.
a este canal. Bienvenidos también a No for Broadcast capítulo 2. ¿Cómo le va, Don Douglas? Bienvenido. Bienvenido, Don Douglas. Bienvenido a la transmisión. Se me olvidó activar el Streamer Events. El Stream Avatar, digo. Ok, como yo estos directos los subo, estoy subiendo los directos completos, así que por hoy día no me listo. Pero yo creo que es hora ya. Escucha, bueno, no voy a estar con cámara, pero tengo una botella aquí al lado. Ya. No voy a estar con cámara porque quiero que el juego se transmita bien, pues, así que ustedes se dan cuenta que el juego tiene muchas pantallas que uno no ve. No se verían bien con la cámara, así que nada, pues. ¿Se escucha? Perfecto. Se escucha el agua. Escucho, buena.
And neighbours,
Voy a bajarle volumen al juego esta vez.
that the team will keep you
Espero que
safe.
estén bien. Sí, pues si estoy con la agüita aquí. Yo escuché la agüita
Now you
aquí.
start to see, yes, the people
Buscar alguna
never
acá.
happy. It's never
Los
enough.
40. Para empezar con esta transmisión tan demasiado fuerte. Sí, se lo estoy bajando el volumen, amigo. Ahí está bien. Creo yo.
Are you saying
Mira,
that Advance have
estuve
cured
jugando una
death?
partida sin llegar, obviamente sin llegar más allá de lo que ya había comenzado.
Still vassals, slaves were just
Para poder pulirme un poco más con los botones. Esa es la idea. Era pulirme nomás. Ya, aquí vamos al día 232 en la NFV1 que la hice, ya en el 153. Así que eso. Vamos a partir esto. Es hora. Estábamos en el día 232, estaba quedando la grande, nuestra madre se fue al lugar de a la eutanasia gratuita y de calidad. También nuestra esposa nos quiere mucho porque, ¿saben? No, lo cuento como bueno, jugué una partida esta. Si yo hubiese elegido, por aquí, ¿te acuerdan que mi cuñado me ofrece, el cuñado me ofrece, me pide el pasaporte? ¿Te acuerdan? Bueno, resulta que si yo no le paso el pasaporte, se enojan todos conmigo. Y a él, claro, lo va a dejar en la calle. Mi señora no me habla, hace un deseo. Y después te lo va cobrando con sentimiento. Y la relación con tu esposa empeora. Llegado al día 153, la relación con tu esposa es mala. Pero tenéis plata. Aún así, te acaban la plata en un tiempo. Así es como la historia. Y si yo, por ejemplo, hubiese no retado al hijo, no lo hubiese retado en la parte cuando fue con los amigos, no habría ido a la escuela. Ya me estoy entrando algunas cosas, así que eso, vamos con la partida. Día 232, aunque claro, que yo igual pero quiero volver a jugar algunas que otras partidas, así que vamos con esta nomás. No, sobreescribir, claramente. Vamos. Continuar. Ya. ¿Están preparados para esta experiencia, gente? Si se escucha el micrófono muy despacio, la música muy fuerte, avísenme, porque igual traté de bajarle el volumen ahora al sonido. Y le damos. Hoy día voy a estar hasta las 10. Voy a estar hasta las 10. Ah, ya, Malir. Bueno. Estuve cachando algunas cosas. Por ejemplo, de que la cámara... ¿Qué pasa aquí? Liga de deporte, weón. Gran deporte, weón. El deporte, weón, el mejor deporte de este universo, weón. Por si acaso. Ahí está.
Oh, good. You can tell him I'll return his wife's casserole dish at our dinner next week.
La cazuela. De hecho, ya está subido el primer video de esta saga en YouTube. Y el video del texto completo, así que... Bueno.
She nearly blinded me.
10 seconds, everybody.
Todo el mundo está quedando así con este juego.
Jeremy, you know that. Just stop
Bueno.
being so high and mighty and do your job.
4, 3.
Don't tempt me.
¿Verdad que
Good evening. I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
Ah, tengo 3 titulares ahora.
The World Council
LOL.
has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the
A
supply
ver, vamos a
of
poner
oil and gas,
no tengo idea qué va a pasar aquí. Se voy a poner
and
la...
even some medicines. But how should we react?
Elegí la,
We
¿no?
asked the public.
So how do you feel about the sanctions?
Oh, no.
I actually think that with advance in charge we'll be fine. Of
Con
course, the
hacerlo-
rest of the world will want us to fail, or it will be
¿Qué es
their
esto?
billionaires next. But I
¿Rusia
trust
Simulator?
Julia and Peter. I trust Julia and Peter.
Thanks.
Era
Patrick.
Rusia Simulator.
Fascinating stuff.
No puede
Popular Prime Minister
ser.
Julia Salisbury has released a reassuringly brave statement in response to the World Council's controversial announcement.
This
Me gusta
international
esto.
declaration is nothing short of
Increíble. Increíble.
A democratically
chucha.
elected government
Me
with
estoy
massive
boicoteando mismo.
popular
Cuidado.
support. We do not recognize these sanctions. And we encourage other socially progressive nations of the world to both
Tengo que
resist
ajustar el... Ahí.
and ignore
Ajustar.
advanced
Estuve
has
practicando,
struck
estuve
fear
practicando esta
into
parte
the heart of
de...
international
Sobre todo...
by showing that
Sobre todo
it
esta parte de
is
abajo.
possible to have
Y
radical
también
change for the
que aumente el
betterment
público.
of the
Posibilidad
many.
que me vaya una y me ganen algo de plata en este juego.
We
Ahí.
Ya.
Ya. Ay. Epicardo.
We are a team, now more than ever. This team is on your
Ahí,
side.
ahí. Bien.
Thank you.
Vamos. Gracias.
Defiant stuff. But what do you, the public, think
Ahí va,
about
¿qué opina la
government's
gente? Ve.
stance? Robin Short.
Ah.
I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the government.
What? That shower of iridescent
Oh.
punishing success and rewarding laziness?
Oh, mierda.
They're taking this country down the bloody Swanee. And it's not just me that thinks so. My wife Iris, she agrees.
A Flard Day's Night. Following the release of the Flard Master 5000, production of Flards are at an all-time high,
Dios mío.
requiring the new manufacturing facility in Grizzleford to move to 24-hour-a-day production.
With people finding more and more uses for the ever-versatile
Digan una letra
Flard,
rápido.
the team
Una letra
at
rápido, por favor.
certainly have their hands full keeping up the demands.
Apúrense, apúrense, apúrense.
Is there anything better than a handful of Flards? We asked
Dije cualquiera, no, sí, no había tiempo.
What's your opinion
De,
of
puta.
Flards?
Ya. La leí tarde, pero ya para la otra voy a empezar de, lo que sea.
I've killed 3 members of my family and more
Oh.
than one pet. You should have stuck with words. You were safer then.
Oh.
A momentary lapse
Ah,
of
B.
reason.
Buena. La
Communities across the
chunté.
capital found themselves somewhat bemused
Sí,
by the
sí,
latest
sí.
stunt by controversial protest group Disrupt.
In a baffling start to the day, commuters found performers outside
Vamos a ver
every
qué
major
pasa.
station, all dressed
Ah, puedo
and
cambiarla.
posed identically.
Tengo 22 segundos para cambiarla,
Whether
puse B,
supposed to
pero
be
si pueden
amused
otra letra,
or
avísenme.
intimidated is anybody's guess, Jeremy.
Hay otra letra, díganme.
Didn't even stop to
Yo te dice antes, por ejemplo, 10 segundos,
Well,
15.
as long as it's
C.
not some grand contemporary dance, it's probably harmless.
C.
But how do we all feel about Disrupt and their eclectic tactics? Robin found out.
Do you have any feelings about Disrupt?
It's all a bit noisy for me, really. As Mother
Como decía mi
always
madre,
said,
¿ya?
leave the rebelling to the rebels, Malcolm.
Bubbling up,
Epicardo. Gran
intrepid
frase.
scientist Dr. David Wong and Dr. Ingrid Sforsborg Hawkinsford today sent a blueprint for
Espérate,
the escape
espérate, no
plan
alcancé,
which they
no
hope to
alcancé a censurar, no, no, no.
Dante's taint.
With expert opinions of the plan running
Esta es un meme, así en la B.
That looks like something my granddad made in his shed. It sounds like the
Es un
unfortunate
meme,
team
po,
are
weón.
going to need all the thoughts and prayers they can get.
So what should we think about the escape plan? Patrick Bannon again.
Vamos a comprar Rivano, ¿qué viene a la gente?
Dare I ask you about the blueprints?
Well, mate, I've never been a submarine engineer, but I have tinkered with a few motors in my time, and I can tell you
A
that
ver.
thing is not going to work. I'd rather trust my life to Uncle Pat, and I murdered him 10 years ago.
Lo maté hace 10 años. Ah, bueno.
What? It's because you're joking. It's funny. Are you?
¿Verdad?
I am not a number. Applications finally
Oh,
opened today
no,
for
Dios
advanced
mío.
team membership cards, a scheme by the government to allow
Creo
fast
que no
access
cargué los
to all the
comerciales.
public services being
Cierto, weón.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary. They will be recognized as legal identification by all
Vamos con la B,
major
la B.
organizations, including the police, banks, and vitally,
Claro, po.
clubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge.
¿Está malo?
It all seems too good to be true.
Oh, está
Well, I've
malo.
always been a cynic, but
Se
most
me había
importantly,
olvidado cargar los comerciales,
what
weón.
does the public think about the new team membership cards?
A ver.
Team membership cards?
¿Los mismos viejos?
Bloody not. It's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your
No la deja hablar.
identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable
No la
Rick
deja hablar.
Maxon here can stick their truncheon up your derriere.
Crikey!
They should call them what they are. They're bloody ID
Corky como el del LOL.
cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy, Algernon! I'm so sorry. Crikey.
Dios mío.
And finally tonight, getting stuck in a shameless attempt to cash in on his bad boy status,
A ver.
shame celebrity Johnny Hamsleeves announced
Hamsleeves
a new
anunció
line
qué
of
marca.
real ale at a press conference earlier today.
A ver.
The new brew, entitled Headbutt Ale, in reference to his controversies
A
of
ver.
last year, promises
Ahí vamos a poner
night
la
you'll pretend
X.
you
A ver.
regret.
Or possibly a night you'll pretend you remember.
So what should we all think of Johnny's latest attempt to market his notoriety? Patrick?
A ver. Pero si el mismo viejo.
Later tonight, in a bit of a switcheroo, it'll be
Varias
Jeremy
palabras,
in the
gente.
culture chair, spitting
Ya.
rhymes with popular rapper Jay Zus. And then we'll both
Ah, ya
be
viene
talking
viene
about
esta cuestión de acá.
set to take the nation by storm again.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National
National
Nightly
Nightly
News.
News.
Ah, chucha. Se viene. Ya, pero está, por favor. Dime que está, dime que está. No, no está, lo abraza mismo. No. No están los abrazamimos. Oh, qué desilusión más grande. ¿Ya?
First tonight, thankfully, some news as we return to our main story.
The World Council today
ver.
agreed that punitive and potentially
Dura
illegal
sanción a
sanctions
nuestro
should be
país.
imposed upon this country.
Tal vez ilegales,
Sanctions which come into
exactamente.
effect immediately aim to stop the
Ah,
flow
de
of food,
inmediato.
fuel, and even some medicines from reaching
Al
the public.
carajo, weón.
Tonight we have guests from across the continent to discuss this
De todo el
unprecedented
continente,
situation. For advance, Peter Clement is at his home in Lanfordshire. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
A momentous day, Prime Minister. Are
Oh,
you
no.
shaken?
No, I don't scare that easy, I'm afraid, old son. And neither do the people of this country.
Well, joining us is Ivan Vodovich, Foreign Minister of Urkistan.
Y Kurdistán.
Ivan, thank you for being here.
Great pleasure. You, Megan Wolf, are like strongest guard at labor camp who wake up inside body of crazy, expensive prostitutes.
What?
In my country, you will be worshipped as a god.
Okay. Minister, as one of those arguing most strongly for these sanctions, how do you feel about Advance's defiant stance?
Vance is like man who think he have big career in movies.
¿Qué?
When actually, he
Yo pensé que Kurdistán era un chiste.
screaming at me and holding tiny
Exactamente, se llama Incordestán.
He's clearly not from Svenland, and we have like some of the cleanest mental health facilities in the
Svenland.
country. Yeah.
And welcome to Svenland's Minister of Mojo, Björk. I'm sorry, we don't appear to have your surname.
It's just Björk, yeah. We don't
Björk.
do things like socially divisive surnames here, yeah.
Minister?
It's just Björk, yeah.
Llámame bien.
Björk, your country spoke in favour of Advance at the World Council today, but you were noticeably absent when it
Yeah.
came to the actual vote.
Well, what a surprise. The hippies didn't show up for the fight.
Actually, that's quite racist, because if you must know, we were going to go to the whole, like,
¿Pero qué pasó? ¿Pero qué pasó? A
actually
ver.
the festival of Fureland here at the moment, where we honor the old generations. So, like, we all had to look our grandparents gleaning
Wow.
as the vote was happening, and that's like a really, really time-consuming process, actually.
You're like sissy man. You have this expression, sissy man. Is like man with tiny penis who like to wash more than once a week.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's quite homophobic, yeah,
Oh,
because...
stop winding him up, Ivan. We're not back at the Grange now. Sorry, Jeremy. Ivan and I used to play golf back in my media days.
Yeah, he always wins.
Nothing gives him greater pleasure
Oh,
than
yeah?
grinding people's gears. The more publicly, the better.
Peter, you're like man with tiny penis who think he have tiny penis.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
actually,
mierda.
he discovered that. Oh, could it be? No, it's tiny penis.
Ivan's just worried that when the rest of the world sees how
Carajo, ¿qué es
well
esto?
we're doing, they'll notice all that dosh that he's got squirreled away. Because that's what these sanctions are, Megan. They're the last pathetic gasp of an establishment in collapse. Wolves at the gates, Ivan, old mate.
Good. They can join others on my wall.
Actually, in Svenland, we have like
Svenland.
serious animal welfare legislation. And like my friend Helga, she got
Y
arrested.
bien, a Helda le detuvieron por matar a una mariposa que revolteaba.
I mean, in English, jam sandwich.
I used to
Sandwich.
know a girl called Jan Sandwich. She was a right cracker too. Wonder what became of her.
We seem to be
¿Estás
wondering
diciendo que la detuvieron?
news here.
It's human interest, Jeremy. The real people behind the headlines and all that. So if you're watching, Jan, give us a call.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see if we can't organise a reunion.
Crux, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to run it past Mrs. Clement first, eh?
Peter, you're like man trying to empty ashes
Oh,
of their
no.
mistresses into oncoming vein. Soon you have tiny penis and beard full of secrets.
In Svenland, we don't really go in for all that restricted monogamy stuff here. We're kind of fluid.
Es una burla muy grande a Suecia.
So before we go to the
Fuera de joda, es claramente una referencia al progresismo sueco.
and
Possible shortages in power.
Que
Yes, of course. Thank you. Possible shortages and power outages. Can you summarise your thoughts for us, Minister Björk?
Well, from here, yeah, you all look a bit stupid really arguing about outdated divisive concepts like money. In Finland, we replaced currency with a system of bodily fluids back in the 1970s.
¿Eh?
That's like a really hard to sanction, actually.
Thank you.
¿Se acabó?
Mr. Vodovich.
Your country.
10.000 dijo. 10.000 dijo.
Perfect trap for giant Newton hairy bear. And really, he just
Vea esa barrita como avanza, gente.
Holding his tiny penis, yes. Thank you, Minister. And finally, Prime Minister Clement.
Let me talk to your viewers here, Jeremy. Don't worry, everybody. Don't be afraid. don't even lose a wink of sleep. We knew the rest of the world would react this way, and we're ready. As my old man used to say,
Wow.
you can't make a shite pie without blocking a few toilets.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Reassuring words there.
We'll be back
after these messages.
1 minute back.
Hey, Peter, I over your way this weekend. You fancy a quick 9?
Yeah, sure, front or back.
That's what I hope you're asking.
Esto no se está midiendo por si acaso.
She's out of your league, mate.
You have to be more careful.
It's all part of his long-term plan to get fired live on the news at 6 in front of the nation.
Can someone warn him it's going a little too well?
Oh. El plan está funcionando. Oh. Ya. El teléfono está echando a perder. Maldita sea. ¿Cuál es el azul? ¿Será esta?
Are you still meant to bow to foreign royalty?
What?
¿Quiénes son estos?
Hang on. Have they given you the Crown Prince report?
Imagino que la cámara 1 es la que está principal.
This is Jeremy. He'll be interviewing you.
Yo, thanks for having me on your show, man.
It's quite all right.
Yo, just a quick one. You're not gonna ask me about the chimp, are you?
Live in 10
¿No el mono?
seconds.
¿Vieron el mono?
I'm just saying.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honor and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called
El
the
hijo de
son
las
of the streets
calles.
and the father of truth.
Oh,
not sure how
no.
that works, but whatever.
Oh,
Let's
no.
welcome Jesus.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here on your show, the news. You know,
Maldita
as a kid on
sea,
the
no.
streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey
A ver.
to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand. You
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Ricardo, tremenda historia. Estoy llorando.
And she died tragically. Right there in my arms, man.
Mi brazo.
You know, I remember a tear falling as she lay there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story
Tremendo.
of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were like...
El tiempo.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending
Ahora
it.
de
man.
decirle la censura.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah. I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing. And I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children?
Io lo già hai chiesto.
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
Or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for
Tremendo.
itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh no, I'm gonna do something a little different. It's a new single.
Oh no. Oh no.
This is unappropriate.
Maldita sea.
You love it?
Excellent.
No,
Don't
no,
worry, we're
no,
gonna
no.
set
Ya
it
sé pa'
out
dónde va
censorship
esto.
system. What's the worst that could happen? So here
Ya
he
sé pa'
is.
dónde va
the
esto,
new
señores.
song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus.
First, you're gonna pay all. You're gonna pay all. Yeah.
Ya.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given
Yeah.
moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still two leaders in this motherfucking nation.
No puede
Now
ser.
we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my
Ah, ya,
fucking
ya.
dreams.
Te di cuenta de algo. Puta, la rojo tengo que censurar sí o sí, pero la azul, no me conviene. Claro. Puta, me cargan los musicales. Este juego ha hecho todo lo posible.
The best of the praise of the crest of the wave, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head.
Oh, maldita sea. ¿Quién podría omitir eso, ah? No. No, para nada, o sea, yo que... Sería una lástima que se me olvidara apretar justo en el lado azul, ¿ah? Sería una lástima. Déjate decir fucking, por favor.
You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise of the crest of the waves, cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves.
Oye, estoy disfrutando la canción, weón.
Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head, cause he's thick as shit. He's got a job he's unfit for. Time to pull a puzzle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets. Set a fire in the building, let him feel some fucking heat. Take your hate to
Maldita sea.
You're squilling bed letters and burn them on the powers of advanced fucking letters. Gonna take his facts, gonna stain it red, gonna slam it into Peter Clemens'
Oh no.
cause he's thick as shit. He's
Quiero ver qué pasa nomás. Si muero, muero nomás.
Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team. And advances little dances aren't as harmless as it seems, cause they're stale and corrupt.
Nosotros somos un canal con libertad de expresión, amigos míos. No, nada de cuestiones. Va. A mí no me afecta. Oh. Bueno.
Jesus there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
Oh.
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral,
Oh.
unbiased, and independent of any outside
Bio Bio.
interference.
Pop,
You have my
Radio
word.
Bio Bio, gente.
We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture.
Dios mío.
Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ad.
Just a reminder.
Using that old VCR.
A ver.
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask
Oh,
you to
trust me.
leave it.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand. This is unbelievable, Megan.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
¿Cuál pongo? ¿Una E? ¿Qué? No. No, no, no. Oye, pero no tengo. ¿Colocar acá? Claro, ahí tendría que ser. Una E. Pero si lo he hecho bien, mira. Mira el público que nos está viendo. Ah, no puede ser, weón. Ya.
No, here we go.
Oh, stop it.
Look at him.
If we could just get you in position.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
Megan, Jeremy,
Yeah.
remember Mr. Algebra?
Vividly.
El señor Álgebra
Mr.
vuelve.
Harris, and this is Ms. Raiden.
What?
Philippa, please.
Vuelve el señor Álgebra, amigos míos.
Perhaps a lower order demon.
Yes, it is awfully exciting, isn't it?
Right, okay then. We're going live in 10 seconds, opening on camera 1.
Try.
¿Qué?
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by
No.
National Treasure Tommy Harris,
No, por
the National
favor.
Theatre's Philippa Raiden, and National Deficit
Yo,
Jeff
Álgebra.
Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this.
Yeah.
Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to the training sometimes. He's actually pretty good.
Ah, ben.
But anyway, so, yeah, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see. He says, how
Dios
would
mío.
you like to spread your message
Yeah.
of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate
Yeah.
times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
¿Qué demonios pintas tú en esto?
After the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre.
Yeah.
I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director,
Ok, trata de juntar 10 segundos en
I
el
whipped
enfoque
my
de cámara.
trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy,
Wow.
would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris, Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is
Hold on.
built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Sería ese error de ahora de señal.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells!
Tremendo.
Philippa,
Tremendo.
what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or god-forsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Estamos revelando grandes momentos de
Jeff,
eso.
the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show.
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my my steady hand on the tiller, my arm around the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
No.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions
de ahí lo
are
veo.
immeasurable. He was our rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
¿Qué es esta mierda?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
Yeah. We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
Wow. Tremenda obra de arte. Un 10.
You'll never take the sacred path! And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer,
pagado.
which, you know, to be honest, was actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale.
Which frankly would have been a travesty.
Amén. ¿Este es el final? ¿Este es el final?
Goodness, and you do this every night.
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
No puede ser.
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost
Oh,
of my
no.
tours and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
No sé por qué me tenga que los van a linchar.
No doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most
El
attractive
caballo más atractivo.
horse.
¡Caballitos!
I'm Jeremy
¡Hay caballitos en
And
este
I'm Megan
juego!
Wolf. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
That's the ads. Let's get reset.
Oh, mierda.
Ads. Let's get reset for
¡Comercial!
tomorrow, please.
¡Comercial!
We must stop bumping into each other like this, eh?
Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Una E. Hijo de tu madre, me quitó el comercial, weón. ¿Cachai que tuvo una A? Tuvo una B, po. Ligera deducción. Deuda agobiante, eso es bueno, ¿eh? Eso es bueno. Eso es bueno. Ha bajado la deuda. Y la resistencia nos quiere mucho, pero el canal lo odia, weón. El canal los odia, señores. Ya. Día 299, bueno. Ya. Una escalera que merece la pena subir. Es una tarde de domingo veraniega y tranquila. Tú y Sam están aprovechando el tiempo para que el niño no esté en casa. Estás en la despensa. Y te detienes un momento para recordar que solías ser la habitación de tu madre antes de salir con las dos últimas porciones de tarta casera. También tú no soléis gozar de la oportunidad de acabar los dulces de la casa, así que sabrías hasta el último bocado. Justo cuando te acabas el último trozo, oyes la puerta de la entrada cerrarse de golpe. Te oyes ir en vuestra búsqueda a toda velocidad y cuando los encuentras, ves la sonrisa que lleva de oreja a oreja. ¡Traigo un pedazo de notición! ¿Os lo cuento?, pregunta Sharky. A partir de hoy son miembro de la primera línea de los cadetes de cohesión. Voy a hacer muchas más cosas y me tocará currar algunos fines, pero mola un montón. Mira, lo voy a dejar que sea feliz. Sé que morirá. No he jugado nada, insisto, no he jugado nada. No tengo idea de qué pasa después, pero me imagino que va a morir, porque yo estoy haciendo todo lo contrario. XD. Voy a dejar esta. Voy a dejar esa. XD a nuestro hijo, pues, se volvió facho. Increíble. Eso es lo que pasa cuando dejáis los comunidades comunistas, pues bueno. Una señal de que nos espera. ¿Amenazas de muerte? Ir de compra será algo bastante tedioso ante las sanciones, pero ahora es incluso yo peor. Has conseguido comprar todo lo que necesitas esta noche para la familia. Tendrás que volver mañana para tener suficiente una semana entera. Cuando sea el último coche que te delante, me encanta que la cola sea un puesto de control que nadie sabía. Un hombre con aspecto amable que uniforme de Advance, algo con ACC. Por aquí y por allá se acerca tu coche y pica la ventanilla al lado del conductor. Buenas noticias, pon encima de la tarjeta de miembro del equipo, por favor. ¿No se supone que lo era voluntario? No se preocupe, tenemos aquí los formularios que aparecen de registro de la compañía que te trae, no es como fue parecido. Es evidente que se ha quedado con la peor parte y toca hacer todo el papeleo. ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago, gente? ¿Qué piensan ustedes aquí que podría ser una buena idea? ¿Creen ustedes que... ¿Creen ustedes que la ve? ¿Alegar por mis derechos de persona? A ver qué nos pasa. No se debe tener el no, pero que la tarjeta cuenta con una gran variedad de beneficios. Master Block, gente. La actitud amable se esfuma prácticamente al instante y la reemplaza con una expresión de desaprobación. Bueno, no puedo obligar a nadie a perderla, pero recomiendo que lo haga y pronto. No queremos que la gente crea que tiene algo que esconder, ¿no? Oh, wow. Wow. Este es como... Jojo Rabbit también. Puede ser Jojo Rabbit. Es sábado. Pero a medida que llega la tarde, ves por la invitación de la nevera te llega una mirada acusatoria. Una gala del Canal 1 es un evento de trabajo obligatorio, te dijo Bossman. No se te ocurre llegar tarde, ya bueno. Lo mejor que piensa prepararte. Le preguntas a Sam si podrá llevarte. Seguro una bebida, 2 te van a pedir para socializar. No. Oh no. Maldita sea. No ha terminado el día. Llegas a tiempo al Sauvignon por los pelos, uno de los hoteles más antiguos y espléndidos de la capital. Te sorprende ver que hay cola para entrar, pero te das cuenta que es porque el personal representantes militares activado con una forma normal está cachando a la gente en la entrada. Deja que te cachen, no queda otra opción. Cuando entras y pasar al salón, sigue las indicaciones y no puede evitar maravillarte la magnitud. Al llegar una mujer con una expresión tanto severa en el rostro, le pregunta cómo te llamas. Soy Ale Winston. Comprueba la lista de tu usuario del camarero que está junto a ella. Llega justo a tiempo para el inicio de la cena. Emanuel irá con usted a su mesa, bla bla bla. Bueno, eso es lo principal. Alguien toca el brazo y Emanuel te sujeta para que lo sigas. Llega hasta una mesa lejos de la parte central que está justo bajo una escalera. Como mucho alcanzas a ver la mitad del escenario. Se nota que Bosman no está especialmente contento contigo. Compartes mesa con unos compañeros que te han hablado en la oficina cada uno, pero no lo conoces demasiado. La mayoría de ellos son unos vagos, gente que está a punto de quedarse batida de la calle. Wow. La noche sigue le conceden a Jeremy Donaldson el premio por las contribuciones excepcionales del periodismo. Sin embargo, es Megan la que acepta en su lugar porque él no apareció en el evento. Parece que es lo vital. Lo siento que apenas te enteras de nada de culpa de las vistas que te he dejado en la escalera. También te percatas que hay un agente de cohesión comunitaria robando cerca de tu mesa. Ese es tan aburrido como yo, claro. Tras tomar un par de copas de vino carísimo, te vas a Bossman a hablar con algunas mesas junto a los primeros ministros. El ACC te lo confirma sintiendo con la cabeza cuando se pregunta un poco más alto de lo que deberías. Tu presencia hace que comience un debate en tu mesa sobre las virtudes de Advance y disrupción. Uy. ¿Qué digo acá? Voy a hacer amarillo, Voy a amarillar nomás ahí. Voy a amarillar, sí, porque no me gusta Advance, pues bueno. Pero el personaje no va a pasarlo muy bien si sigo rechazando, diciendo que el comunismo es bueno, pues. No me conviene. Hay que ser creativo, gente. Hay que pensar. Lo que no hago en el ajedrez, hay que hacerlo aquí. 296. Ola de calor. Y ya sé para qué me sirve, ya sé para qué es esto. Y siempre la enciendo, weón. Siempre la enciendo porque sí. Porque sí nomás. Sin ningún motivo. Ah. De hecho, ahí pasaba. Imaginaba que iba a pasar algo así. Siempre prendía la... Ahí está. Ah, ya se apaga solo, ok. Ya. ¿Este? Me quieren mucho, ¿ah? Me quieren mucho la empresa. ¿Y el teléfono?
I'm sweating like Peter Clement in an off license here.
¿Y el teléfono dónde está?
We're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his
Ya voy a
name is,
tratar de ser bueno. Ya, voy a tratar de ser de hacer los finales, o sea, hacer las cosas, las caritas felices, si es que salen, o cosas buenas, ¿ya? Para que nos vaya un poco mejor con la, porque nos está yendo un poco mal. No sé. Vamos a intentarlo, vamos a intentarlo.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade
Bloqueo
to enforce
militar.
the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team headquarters a short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
Ever since these illegal sanctions were imposed, we have gratefully relied upon trade and aid from our worldwide friends who, like us, refuse to recognize their legitimacy.
¿Qué?
Today's escalation, however, is
Está
nothing
pasando.
short of an act of war.
Ah, la mierda, ¿qué hice?
We call upon our international allies to
¿Qué?
condemn this blockade absolutely. And we warn
Por la
aggressors to
chucha.
this country
Yo
that
sabía,
we
güey.
are neither meek nor defenseless.
¿Eh?
Thank you.
Al puto carajo.
Failing business. Wannabe beer magnate Johnny Handsleeves seems to have fallen on hard times as his brewery venture folds. It seems Johnny wasn't cut out for the brewing business, as poor sales forced him to close his doors. And if this exclusive image is anything to go by, he hasn't been handling it well. Pictured here on day 4 of his nationwide tour, where he's going to kick the doubters, the failed entrepreneur is making his way from pub to pub, thumping anyone who dares
Qué
call his
grande,
brew
güey.
too hoppy. In it to win it.
Qué gran tipo, güey. Qué gran
News
tipo.
from Advance today with the announcement of a
Mira,
new
la
monthly
fotito.
prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty
A
soon
ver.
everyone's going to have one. A bridge to Flard. After disappointing sales leave them with a massive Flard surplus, Remington's Fist have had to find a use for their overflowing stocks. After the decision to ramp up production was met with public outcry, Sophia Remington has let slip the future for the overflowing flock of failed Flards. It seems there are now thousands upon thousands of shipping containers full of the formerly fashionable fabrications lying unused and unloved in
Acaparamiento,
warehouses around
gente.
the country. An official
Están
spokesperson
acaparando,
refuted
güey.
this claim,
Se están
saying many of the
atrincherando
codes
los
also
milicos.
contain corporate whistleblowers, endangered species, and long-lost priceless religious artifacts. Back to basics. It seems the team trapped in Dante's taint could be facing a problem too great even for them, as escape plans are scrapped. An image transmitted from deep within the cave
Creo que
system
todos estamos por la
shows
vez,
the
¿cierto?
doctors
Todos estamos por la
moments
beca.
after they receive the news that they have lost public support for their reckless escape attempt. Could this serious setback prove fatal for their already troubled homeward venture? Despite the devastating blow, somehow Doctors Wong and Swartzborg and Horgensford seem resolute and united. But without hope of returning home, what will they turn their iron will to instead? If you have any suggestions, perhaps dig a big hole
Excavado
and
un hoyo,
scream them
tremendo.
into the earth. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests,
Yeah.
resulting in multiple arrests and the injury
Ah,
of 3
detenciones.
community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment.
¿Ya?
As grassroots support for the movement grows rapidly, especially in those areas Advance have not yet been able to fully regenerate, people across the country are starting to fear a return to the bad old days of
Oh,
inequality,
no.
division, and multiple television shows about buying houses. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as
Bueno.
well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship,
Campeonato felino de
and
fútbol.
her proud owner. That's up on tonight's National Nightly News.
A ver qué sale ahora. Ah, mierda. Ahí está. Oh, mierda.
tonight.
Sí,
Our
sí,
team
sí.
of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country.
Maldita sea.
To see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to
¿La
see what
playa?
the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking.
Por un momento pensé que me cae la de la derecha.
Burns at the University of Princeford. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am?
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating.
And you're part of a team
Yeah,
carrying
I
out
know.
a study into just what's causing this unbelievable heat. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about
Yeah.
and that they can
Yeah.
enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
¿Qué experimento está haciendo,
Data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer. And
Ah, la máquina está haciendo ruido, pensaba que eran las cosas acá.
of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Rivington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just compliment.
Puta de nuevo.
And, as expected, everything is absolutely...
Ya no cacho bien
Hang on.
acá.
This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said
Puta.
a second ago that everything is absolutely fine, so...
Esta será un fiasco esta señal, man.
Concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah? We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Here it just says, shit.
Look at you. This is
Yeah.
supposed to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go. Much better. Can I just say thank you
Maldita
again,
sea.
Sophia Remington, for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running
It's running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Bien.
I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will
¿Qué?
reclaim us all.
Pero sí. Pero sí. Ah, puta, po, weón.
Back to you. Megan Wolf,
Ahí está, po.
attempting to do some actual news.
Ya
Next,
sabes,
let's
chavos.
over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some
Vamos
of the
con el
winners
tercero.
of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey,
I'm here in
Robin.
Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah.
All we had to do was fill in a quick
Ahí,
form
ya,
or
perfecto.
two. Wow, that sounds so
Dejáis ahí por si
convenient.
acaso.
But we're all dying to know, what have you won? That's right, Robin.
Ahí está.
I've won dinner with Julia Salisbury at one of
Estamos recuperando a la gente, ¿ah? Recuperando la audiencia.
Swanky?
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
Uno cargado el comercial.
Absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon. I've written a poem about it. So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well,
Ahí está,
I
ahí.
was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a
Ok, cualquiera de esos tres que esté encendido, po.
stanza. So you were both
Tenemos
polishing
esto acá.
turds.
No, I don't like to polish them.
Hey.
I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh,
Ahí.
how
Ahí.
unexpected.
Ahí. Ya, bien.
Polish turds. I write poetry. Potato, potato. So Gary,
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me
Ahí
keep
está, ahí
the
está, ahí está, ahí
contents
está.
of the downpipe?
Estamos manejando, lo estamos manejando.
there's no harm in asking, I suppose. Would you like to hear one? No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up
No,
for
gracias.
team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible.
Picardo.
It's important to know who
Gente muy
we're trusting around
sincera.
our children. Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one. No. Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence. I'd rather hear about
Yeah,
Gary's turd
pero-
collection.
Really? I thought you might say that.
Oh, mierda.
Are
you all right?
¿No?
It's coming.
Ah, esta es la tipa del... La vidente.
It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Es la vidente. Ahora me acordé.
Today on the show there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Yeah, this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous, really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance?
Estamos recuperando la audiencia, amigos.
If it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at
¿Para qué los comerciales? ¿Para qué los comerciales? Y los
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was unfair.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes.
Oh, no.
I'm here live
Oh,
in
no.
Grizzleford, which was recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else.
Oh.
Barry Lardons, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud
Pero
of
mal
our
esta parte es
achievement,
solamente
to be honest
escuchar
with
gente
you.
hablando tonteras.
Tell that, look at him, proud as punch.
Ya.
Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster, those smug fucks. But who's laughing now,
Yes,
eh?
sir.
Well, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built flour factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on Johnson growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Does the stink not affect your life in every way, Barry? I mean, perhaps if you're filling in a tax return or completing the physical act of love.
Ojo, de nuevo.
But you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's the sickness?
Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms. Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main, but I think it's probably the fume valves on the high street.
On the high street. Should I see a doctor? What
Yeah.
are the symptoms?
Well, the
Tremendo,
first one
tremendo.
is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, this stinking
Ah,
old
me
tramp?
cansé.
A next recording is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
That's not really a problem, they were sung in my life. Hello,
Viene
it's
la
sexy
interferencia de nuevo.
and he's
Ahí.
wearing sexy shorts now. Oh
Ya.
my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous. Why didn't you tell
Bien,
me?
bien, bien.
I should take my shirt off. You know what?
El Jeremy estaba la cagada,
If you want.
That will be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon. Feel the Bannon. Oh man.
And the ennui.
A
All that's left now
Oh, mierda.
are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nanodotti?
Te estás alucinando, pues, weón.
Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
¿Se murió?
Oh, don't worry, folks.
¿Se murió?
Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels.
Bueno. F.
Right.
F.
That's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. Oh,
Maldita sea. Apúrate, apúrate. Apúrate.
you need to stand back. No way.
I'll be talking to three members of
perdón.
the general public who appear to be
Pútale,
here
esta fue
purely
horrible,
for
¿eh?
medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be
Ya.
back after these messages.
Esta fue horrible, weón. A ver. Oh.
Say this every Friday.
Nos acusan de sabotear el canal.
What do you mean? Jeremy?
My mic is still.
¿Qué están jugando? Pues, weón, una E. Hemos salido de la mediocridad, weón.
Up to 4, Janet. 4 notes at the same time. That's enough for a chord.
But Sophia, surely a home computer entertainment system with games. Damn straight. And with the RS Rainbows, there's an incredible 3 of them.
That's what I'm talking about? Cat football? We should be doing an interview with the War Minister, or a report from Grentham Downs. Even the weather would be more fucking relevant than this.
Jeremy, please, just breathe. It's just something light to keep people's minds off things.
Exactly, which is wrong. People's minds should be very much on things. Christ, it's so fucking hot!
Please take your seats as quickly as you can.
I can't do this anymore, Jenny. I've had enough. That's it. This is just
10 seconds! Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5 fucking 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Tremendo.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. So I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election and it hasn't stopped since.
Notando y para mí también.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels are timing.
And finally,
Es esta
I'm
mierda.
joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred,
and Picardo.
pornography.
Is that?
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Tend to believe your story?
Mierda.
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
Carajo.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me, and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
Tómanos en serio.
And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success have you had?
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt?
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Oh.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park.
Oh no, una carrera con un síndrome de pedos. Va a ser muy raro. Pero la prisa sin risa, tremendo.
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No, I didn't say. Wow, we may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor
Maldita sea.
a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once. Enough! That's enough!
¿Qué mierda pasó? ¿Qué?
What are you doing?
Try not to piss myself.
Alex, cut.
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. you in the broadcast centre. Bozeman's little scapegoat. You listen to me.
Oh.
You catch the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person.
Pon el anuncio, pon el anuncio, pon el anuncio.
I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat.
Los anuncios. Lo anuncio.
Which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years.
Y la gente, mira cómo aumenta esto.
And I'm stuck here talking to these three fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
¡Qué grande! ¡Somos héroes! ¡Somos héroes!
Go on, now, go! Before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Good. Right. Yes. You in the broadcast centre.
Los anuncios. Los anuncios.
You listen to me. You
Oh
pay
no.
attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to pay in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into your machine.
Maldita
And when I say so, and
sea.
not before, you play it. You have 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now.
Lo voy a pausar. Lo voy a pausar. Porque esta decisión va a tener que ser votada. De alguna manera. Va a tener que ser votada esto porque es una decisión difícil. Somos pocas personas, así que voy a meter voy a meter al change.org para, al sorteados.com y voy a hacer esto rapidín, Epic Win rapidín, y vamos a capturar la pantalla. Esta es la otra pantalla, perdónenme, era la otra. Ahí está. Vamos a sorteados.com. La opción A, sorteo simple. La opción A es emitir el video, emitir publicidad que ya está puesta. Emitir publicidad video. Video es la que me mandó Jeremy. La 1 es la que ya puse yo hace un rato. La que gane colocamos. La que gane. No sé qué va a pasar después. No sé más del juego. No tengo idea qué pasa aquí. Así que vamos a intentar. Ustedes son testigos de que ustedes ven aquí el nuevo premio 1. Por tanto, solo puede haber un ganador. Vamos a ver. Emitir publicidad video. Ganó la opción 2. Así que salimos de la pantalla. Vamos al nuevo broadcast.
Alex, I know I've doubted your competence, but surely even you know better than to play that tape. We don't take orders from armed lunatics. Play a normal advert, or there will
Ahí
be
está.
big consequences.
Over now, we're going to show the other side for it. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex,
Vamos.
play the fucking tape. I don't want to hurt.
Oh no. Me van a echar de la pega, pero...
See anything I don't like, I will not hesitate to start.
You're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope you made the right call.
Reset the system for the third segment. I imagine the ratings are going to be through the roof.
¡A más, señores! ¡A más! Muchas gracias. Gracias, Dios. Gracias. Vamos, vamos. Amigos, hemos conseguido una más. Yo me siento orgulloso. Da lo mismo. Que se vaya al carajo el país. Conseguí una más. Eso significa aumento de sueldo.
A shadowy figure with a distorted voice. You've seen it so many times in the movies. Well, this is not a movie.
Alex.
My name is
Alan James.
I used to try and shock people
Tenía razón.
for entertainment.
No.
But now we live in a time.
Alan James
perhaps
tenía
we need to be
razón.
shocked.
Pero voy a decirle así de que Alan James tenía razón. Espera.
Advance are coming for our freedoms.
Alan James.
They're coming for the fruits of our labors. They will take our wealth. They will euthanize our parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns. But you don't have to accept it. A great many people already won't. You can resist. You can disrupt. Find us.
Oh no.
Talk with us. Join us.
Oh no.
It isn't hard. We're everywhere.
This wasn't what I planned. I mean, some of it was. I had speech, good. But this,
Ya que ven amigos que el calor es malo.
this was unexpected.
Mira lo que pasa.
What now, Jeremy? So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off. It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today. Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long, Jenny? How long, Jenny?
You're already won.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new
Jenny?
guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is... What's your name?
Andy.
Andy, policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer.
Ah, claro, pues ACCO.
And
ACC.
how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. It's
Increíble.
not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
Don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
That's perfectly understandable.
Oh no.
We'd want to do this. Jenny, why did you join the National Nightly News team?
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this program? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was?
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
Well, there is a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
Alan James tiene razón.
What do you mean?
Basta.
I saw your face when that bid came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
Like I said, you didn't know.
No, I didn't know. The people I met were with, he wasn't there. I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry, but seriously, Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for...
Oh.
I love you, Jeremy, but...
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
Mira eso, mira esa audiencia como sube.
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into a
Ya esto para que lo vea.
and the news isn't saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Says who? Alan fucking James.
What are all those scientists working on at Grentham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these?
Oh
Not
no.
really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you.
¿Esta es la escena del Joker? Capaz, weón.
You eat these cards of my
¿Será la
notes,
escena del
and
Joker?
you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help,
Yes,
Andy?
yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch
No.
Of course. You're right. Sorry.
No.
Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy. You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there.
Oh.
We're nearly done.
Quedan 5 minutos, Dios mío.
All cameras on me.
Oh no. Oh no. Esto es grave. Estamos llegando al momento insigne.
Seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone
¿Ves que lo matan y yo censuraba
how
todo?
they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves.
Ya. Mira esa pantallita, amigo. Ah, va, señores.
That's why I arranged for you to see that broadcast in the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ,
El
it's
puto
also
Alan James,
fucking
weón.
pointless.
Puta, se me saltó una.
Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never tried it. I loved the news. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry. I've lost this fight.
Alex, think of the consequences.
I've let you down.
Please,
No.
can't show this. Cut to the ads.
My name's Jeremy
Now!
Donaldson.
Do it now!
If you can,
Oh no.
somehow.
¿Qué hago?
I envy you.
Sorteo nuevamente. Sorteo nuevamente. Sorteo nuevamente. Sorteo nuevamente. Vamos de nuevo al sorteado.com. Le cambiamos emitir publicidad. Ahora le ponemos. Ya, me déjame meterme a Twitch en el celular. Ah, no, acá está. Ya, vamos. Disparar, mostrar, disparo, comerciales. ¿Quieren votar o que lo haga lo que lo vuelva a hacer o que lo haga nuevamente el sorteados? ¿Qué dicen ustedes? Yo respeto cualquier decisión acá. Mentira, no respeto nada. Así que vamos con el sorteado. Comerciales. Puta que me gusta el gore, weón. Que lo haga el destino. ¿Sabes qué? Pero ¿sabes qué? No, es pura pantalla. No se va a suicidar. Es lo peor que puede pasar. La puta madre lo hizo. Yo pensé que no lo iba a hacer. No. Vamos comerciales mejor. Vamos comerciales. A ver qué. O sea, no, este verano los pequeños se merecen darse capricho. No, maldita sea. Espero el dólar no se dispare. El dólar. Mira, una más. No, perdón. Eso me faltó mostrar esto. El destino. ¿Me estáis diciendo que ustedes no vieron la escena? Ya, pero se puede remitir, así tranquilo, se puede remitir. Esto no ha sido el fin del mundo. Noche pacífica, el hombre tras. Una vez, señores. Tu salario completo. O sea, gente, lo hicimos. Stones. Pero miren esto, miren esto, miren esto. Porque no se vio, y me di cuenta tarde que no se vio, discúlpenme de verdad. Vamos a cargar la cinta y lo vamos a ver. Vamos a ver la cinta, vamos a ver si llegamos al momento. Porque sí, verdad. Estaba la pantalla de acá. Y no se ve nada gore, así que lo puedo omitir. Claramente esto era una compilación de Twitch, efectivamente. ¿Ya? Vamos a buscar la parte que todos estamos esperando, ¿ya? Igual se entretenido, ¿eh? Mira, cómo pelean. No sé, bastante bien. No te lo abrazamos. Eso es mala noticia. Ahí, no era aquí. Ay, claro. Esto igual demoró caleta esta parte, weón. Sí. En nuestro compromiso por menos gore para la televisión nacional, hemos puesto a disposición hay que ser condescendente con el público. La gente quería ver esto. Ya solo comercial. Es el segundo comercial, sí. No, el primero. Ya hay que empezar a hablar de los petas.
Combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that right?
Not according to my therapist.
Tremendo. A ver.
Listen to me. You cut the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single
¿Qué hubiera pasado si yo no ponía el comercial que decían?
I am thinking about what I'm doing.
Oye. Mira. ¿Sabes? Estoy intrigado por saber qué habría pasado si yo pongo otro comercial. ¿Los mata a todos? Esa es mi duda. ¿Los mata a todos? ¿O...? Porque igual queda como la sensación de...
Andy, your turn. Make yourself.
A ver, los pititos.
Then why do you need these?
Please, don't make me.
Bully.
Jeremy, stop.
Parece teleserie. Me matarán. ¿Aquí viene o no? Por acá viene. A ver...
This just isn't the movie.
Por acá hay, ¿no? Sí, por acá hay, por acá hay.
I've lost this fight.
Cut to the ads.
I've let you down.
Estoy tratando de tomarte porque no se vio en directo, ¿eh?
My name's Jamie
Now,
Donaldson.
do it now.
If you can, somehow. And I envy you if you can. Have a peaceful
Hay
night.
mejor escape. Ah, ahí está.
Jeremy.
Buenas. Buenas. Este es comercial que me reí. Este es comercial.
Your little ones deserve a treat.
Es como un comercial tan alegre, weón. Tan alegre comercial que... Uy, perdón. Ahí está. Ya, pero ya vieron esa parte. Es lo que quería mostrarles. Vamos a continuar. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Quién nos van a echar de la casa? ¿Nos van a matar a nosotros? XD. ¿Quién va a ser el nuevo conductor de este noticiario? Yo tenía ganas de jugar una run donde ayudamos al gobierno, ¿eh? Una cinta que recordar. Te despiertas pero sigues estando hecho por lo que viste en la noticia de anoche. Te tuviste que quitar las noticias de anoche. Cuando vas al piso de abajo, tu familia está sentada en el salón esperándote. Tanto la salida de dudas antes de empezar a hablar. Estábamos tan preocupados por ti, por lo de Jeremy y por la pistola. Estaba intentando soltar un sollozo. Horrible. Y encima la televisión nacional. No hemos podido hacer eso. Y ahora, esta vía cielo. Mira a Charlie y luego mira a mirarte. Vimos que tomaste la decisión de poner la cinta. Era lo correcto, pero voy a decir que no tenía otra opción nomás. Que a mí eso no me vale. Lo de disrupción son los malos. No me puedo creer que hayas hecho eso. El arrebato viene de la nada y nadie parece estar preparado para enfrentarlo. ¿Acaso piensas cómo afectan estas cosas a la gente? No se puede ser más puto gilipollas. Wow. Es que, pero bueno, nuestro hijo es básicamente un soldado de caso en esta altura. Si decide de algo, Alex, creo que era una situación insoportable y que fuera como fuera conseguiste tomar la decisión correcta. Santa brasa. Solo que tuviste que tomarla estando en este estudio y sin poder salir. Nadie puede criticar lo que hiciste, a mí me llena de orgullo. Qué grande Samuel. Y como te digo, si yo hubiese tomado la decisión, porque después de jugué una partida hace un rato, pero hasta cierta parte, hasta el principio nomás, en realidad. Y si yo no hubiese pasado el pasaporte a Chris, yo con el Sam estaríamos casi que en el divorcio, bueno. Así que ahí es una decisión difícil. Está tu hijo y está tu señora en opiniones muy distintas. Y debe ser compleja también. El año ya, ¿no? El año. Un año, señores. Aún sigo trabajando, que eso ya es raro, güey. Sam llega con el correo justo cuando está acabando el desayuno. Anda, tenemos una postal de Susi, espero que se lo esté pasando bien. Sam la lee el alto mientras termina de preparar el trabajo. ¿Dónde está Sucia? Ah, está en el Kurdistán, ¿verdad? Creo que he visto todo el Kurdistán, mola bastante, pero es un frío tremendo. Espero que te haya gustado el regalo, Carlitos. Y antes de que digas nada, menos mal que me hiciste darme otro par de santidades. Antes no mataba por debajo de la mesa. Luego cogimos el tren a Conislava, hace mucho más calor y hay un montón de playas. Me habría quedado ahí para siempre si pudiera. Pero tenía que ir a San Palmarino antes de que empezara a hacer todavía más frío. Menos mal que lo hicimos. Todavía nos queda unas 2 para antes de volver a casa, pero gente que iré para la Navidad. Estoy feliz. Ha pasado un año, gente. E insisto, sigo trabajando, que eso es raro ya. Mi situación económica se ha ido a las nubes, es verdad, pero... Nada, los subtítulos son buenos. Aparte que no soy muy bueno para el inglés, así que... ¿Qué viene ahora? La guerra de las 20. ¡Oh, no! Están puteando, man. No es verdad, ¿eh? Ah, no hay ventilador. Estimo, no hay ventilador.
So, Julia's team have asked me to ask you to keep it light.
Well, what does that mean?
It means to do that thing you do where you turn politics.
¿Y estos botones para qué son?
Just don't get drawn into
Aunque mejoraron algunas cosas, ¿eh? Fíjate que esto mejora un poquito. Lo dio Mixer, está más bonito, ¿eh? Voy a tratar de ser buena persona, ya. Ok. Esta vez me comprometo a ser buena persona y no ser tan un hijo de puta en el juego. Con el mono. Con el...
That isn't it.
Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey will be getting his teeth into Fiona from Hamble Bambleby, who's
10 seconds, everybody.
On the humble biscuit. And that takes us after the weather and information.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Y también se fue Jenny.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolf. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight.
140 días en guerra.
Sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come. Proud parents throughout the territory find themselves ever more impressed by the bravery and commitment of their incredible children and the job they're doing keeping supply lines open against all possible odds. Don't starve. Advance's food program moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centers has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organizations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. The transition centers have reported larger than expected numbers, but report that they are coping well and able to provide a complete and meaningful service to all who choose to use it. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a teen membership card, a worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. It's up to the other 89% of us to remind our tardy friends that not taking advantage of all the exclusive services available to cardholders is now, as it should be, absolutely criminal. Start me up. Disrupt spokesman Alan James held an impromptu rally today in the northern city of Mankipool. Large crowds gathered to hear the band speaker prove Disrupt are still able to capture the public's imagination. Community cohesion officers found themselves challenged by the unruly mob events, but thankfully managed to keep violent incidents to a minimum. And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical Disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. Disrupt spokesman Alan James, whose organisation last week named Mr. Donaldson as the cause's first martyr, described the graffiti as a fitting tribute to a hero of the resistance.
85,
But first this evening, with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive interview from his home in Lampardshire. That's coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Hackeo.
I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later we've got a new feature that's sure to keep you coming back for more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lampardshire. Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
¿Está tomando?
Yes,
¿O está haciendo su mate?
Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old mum used to say, just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister. Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle?
Que veneno, que 8 cuartos.
It's shitter, isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this new year?
Mrs. C and I were watching. You know, when Jeremy Donaldson. Well, you know, and it were blistering hot, as I'm sure you all remember. And I were a bit wheezy from all the cigars and all that. And Mrs. C turns to me after the signal dropped away, and she were in floods of tears. And she says, Peter, she said, I couldn't go on without you, she said. So I made a decision. And since that day, I have stopped smoking cigars. Except for Christmas.
Oh, mierda. Sí.
Weddings. State dinners. That's what I say. I can't as useless running backwards doesn't go anywhere. And apparently I'm going on a walking holiday this Christmas, and that should finish me off for bloody good.
Did you make the decision to holiday within the country this winter because of the blockade, Prime Minister?
Well, Mrs. C has never liked travelling at the best of times. These are certainly not the best of times, although we can all agree. There's a lot of red tape involved in leaving the territory at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware. Some of those forms are bastard long.
All in it together.
What?
All in it together.
Oh, yeah. Also, it doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's
Svenland, claro, Svenland que nos
Is that really an
apoyaba.
example of team spirit?
What? Did
Oh,
you
de
know
nuevo, de
about
nuevo.
this, Gail? You know
¿Qué?
about this,
Ah,
Gail?
bueno.
You should know that. Why don't you know?
Alan
Well,
James.
leaving that
Alan
for a minute, it
James.
says on this card that a body like yours must take some
Alan James
planning
tiene
to
razón.
achieve. What's your morning routine?
Well, I have a frigid morning.
Yeah.
routine.
Rigid. It's rigid for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah. A rigid
Wow.
and demanding plan that my doctor and personal trainer...
Who's your personal trainer?
Some prick called Clark. Is that on your card?
I thought we might wonder. Prime Minister, speaking of planning, with the blockade in its 20th week and the people of this country reeling from its effects, what plans do you have to get us out of this mess?
Yeah.
Well, that's a very
Bueno.
question, Miss
Surely
Wolf.
one for which you, the democratically elected Prime Minister, must have an answer.
Don't you get smart with me, Pat.
Oh.
I was a fucking national treasure before you were a twinkle in the milkman's scrotum. You want to talk about plans? Let me tell you about plans. That's all we do. Fucking plans and revised plans and then meetings to discuss the implementation of plans and plans and yet more planning for fucking plans and yet more fucking plans.
Well, that's good.
Guaja. Perdón. Oye, que a la gente le molesta los insultos. Qué chucha, weón.
You're a breath of fresh air. But I've been watching you. And you know what? You get more
Yeah.
like him every day.
Guau.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Va a hablar nuestra. Uy, la publicidad.
I imagine that
Se me había olvidado, weón.
You imagine?
No, what I mean is...
You do know about
Escucha,
this
mensaje visual de
broadcast,
gobierno,
don't you,
ya ahí.
I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no
¿Lo
secrets
que
from
dicen?
each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody
Ah,
diaries
este.
either. As my old mum used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pew. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards. What else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through. Get out.
Ah, sí, cierto, ¿no?
Come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Grandes preguntas, por cierto.
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no fucking idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for...
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
Oh, Dios mío.
How's rationing affecting you?
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt.
Pero qué mierda está diciendo.
Except for a decent night's sleep, of course.
What?
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the culture
Comercial.
Shock with Lucy and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that. We'll be back after this.
Stronger, this fucking government stuff is complete fucking bog water!
Supposed to know, when you mentioned it, Bozeman's face turned a colour.
Oh.
Embolism.
Am I in trouble?
Bozeman? Nah, you're like the daughter he never had. Suppose the higher-ups might fire him, though.
Who's Lil C?
Or if there's any justice, me.
Who's Lil C?
Are you winding me up?
What? I'm civilized. I read books.
Leo libros. De Picardo. De Picardo, claramente. Una E. Boo. Boo.
You'll no doubt have spotted the updated mixing disc. You'll need the new buttons during the next sections. First, we'll need applause when the guest enters and perform their song. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it when we
Ya,
get there.
tenemos nuevo. Ah, ahí está el teléfono. Buena, no sabía. Ya. Bueno.
I've never heard of her before.
Oh, she's big, really big.
Really?
A
Is
ver.
she good?
Nah, of course not. She's dog shit. But kids go mad for her, absolutely mad.
Live in 10 seconds.
Hang on, Colin, you've got kids.
Yeah, I've got about 6 or 7, I think.
What?
5, 4, 3.
Increíble.
Thanks for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first,
A ver.
I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records
Yeah.
at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C. May I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
What's the regime?
And my manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water
Yeah.
and then having the leaves sucked
Agua de
out.
coliflor, ya.
Wow,
Tremendo.
is that healthy?
Well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together,
F-me la cara.
it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I
Yeah.
was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan.
Oh, puede ser.
Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
Uh-huh. So, this newfound explosion into your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know,
Increíble.
for the paparazzi. But as my manager says,
Esto es
best to make
tremendo.
the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So, what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how
Yeah.
pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Yeah.
Your manager again.
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Ooh. Do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Yeah.
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
on
por
my album,
favor,
Put It
no.
My A Together, and it's out tomorrow.
So soon, after the last one.
Oh yeah, I've actually released 2 albums since lunchtime and a clothing line during this interview. See, this is called Cry for Help, and it's going to be in all the best high street and retailer shops, and it's out now. So girlies, you know what to do. Scream and cry until somebody gets it for you.
Ooh, there she goes. Blimey.
Oh, perdón.
All these projects, they're keeping you very busy, aren't they? It must be tough.
Yeah, it can get tough, and I hate it sometimes, and I hate myself. I just want to like cry into a bath of root
Yeah.
veg. But then I think thousands of girls would do anything to be me, so I must be quite lucky.
Well, you know you don't have to do this, though, don't you?
Yeah, I do think that sometimes. Most
Perdón.
nights between like my 4th vodka and the 8th time a stranger slaps me around the arse. I think things could have been different, you know, like better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit
Perdón,
in front of the
perdón,
radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I pressed record on my cassette. But then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practicing again.
Oh, sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler
Ah, que
proud
Quagler
and
se
you
siente
might
orgulloso.
just survive childbirth."
¿Quién es Kagler?
You know what?
No es cargar el WoW,
You'll
po.
make me proud.
Oh,
No creo.
if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you?
Huh?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So it's called These Babies Gonna
Chicas
Bring You
son muy
Home.
perras
And I
tremendas.
actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what? It's actually all right. And don't worry, all my work is team approved.
All right then. Well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here is Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track,
Yeah,
Baby's Gonna
aplausos.
Bring You Home. Take it away.
It's the Force's favorite, the queen of teams, here to break in your blockades. Lil C.
Oh no. Esta es una versión de Britney Spears, ¿cierto? Baby One More Time. One More Time. Ahí sí.
That's empty. I want that meet back in only you can feel that crack in me. I'm under siege, so come and free me. Ain't no disruption here. Boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me. No dirty foreign member. Don't stop your morning drill. There's holes in me that
¿Qué es esta mierda?
I only scream this loud when you
¿Esta canción puede participar en las canciones bizarras del club del VHS? Por favor. ¿Qué es esto?
See some action, so come and break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since my mom burdened me. She was only 53,
Wow.
but gave to save her family.
Haciendo los
There's
pasitos de
no
Anita.
one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and
¿Qué es
smash
esto?
on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier.
Santo.
So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and down from there. I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions.
Quiero violar la sanción, po. Oh, santo cielo. ¿Qué es esto? No me van a suspender Twitch, ¿cierto? Espero que no, porque es un juego esto. Me salen estos putas que lo deberíamos jugar acá en este stream, pero en este canal deberíamos jugar a estos putas 1 y estos putas 2. Ay, Dios santo. Épico.
Well, if that doesn't distract you
Épico.
from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to thank Lil C for doing that.
Tremendo.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're going to love. We'll be back right after this.
Vamos a comerciales.
And we're out.
Yeah.
Can I just say, thank you so much for letting me do this. It really means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to promote myself on such a mainstream platform like the news.
Well, don't worry about it.
Huh?
And you know what? Good luck for the future. Take care of yourself. This industry can be crazy sometimes. Watch out for that father of yours, won't you?
Oh, no. I manage myself. It's just, you know, for the public to have that certain perspective of me. You know what it's like.
Oh, right.
bueno, bueno.
Michael? Michael?
What about Billy Bob Jean Short? Is he?
Oh, my dad. He's such a sweetheart. We both had the same agents, you know, like it just made sense. Both of us for our
Eh?
together. Wow. And Michael, I want to see the revenue share for the clothing line and get me a G&T before my meeting with the lube guys. If they say for your pleasure, I'm going to stop needing it.
¿Qué? Ya, una C. No está mal. Bueno.
No, not anymore. I'm better than that.
Mira, voy a buscar agua. Vuelvo al tiro, ¿ya? No me voy a tardar los juegos. Ay, Dios mío. Un segundito, estoy volviendo, gente. He vuelto, traje agüita. Traje agua. Para terminar este momento épico.
I'll tell you what.
A
Just
ver.
keep adding flowers until it
Ya.
feels like.
Hoy ya fuimos pro a dance.
Absolutely, right away. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Vamos.
Thanks for joining us for part 3. We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now the wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show, we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The Notice Board.
Te traen
It
denuncia.
stars some top talent, and we're very excited
Yeah.
about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director, and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Jeff Algebra. Vamos.
I go by Jeff DePoon now.
¿Qué?
How'd you like that?
Well, yeah.
Ya no es Jeff
Very fancy.
Algebra.
I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly.
No.
I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh.
It's shit.
And how does Angela feel about all this?
Who?
Angela.
Your wife.
Oh no.
Oh, God, no. No. No, she's long gone. No,
Oh,
she was
no.
holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
And why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call
Es un día,
offering
¿ya?
me 25 grand to write a
¿Ya?
protein sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy.
Era al revés, ¿cierto? Sí.
You make hay while the sun shines. You wring every penny you can get out of this.
Y que agarróse en el gauchado en las
So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking. Utter shite.
And without further ado,
Perdón.
let's give it up for the notice board.
¡Un aplauso!
You have to play a sound effect, Alex. Yes, now you're getting it. Keep going.
Miss Craven.
Oh, morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Comedia, gente. Inventó la comedia.
Young louts, they've vandalized my shop again.
No!
Yes! They've written all sorts of obscene language
Tremendo.
and crude pictures, and I know it's those damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society.
Los mismos actores del juego pasado,
like
weón.
this key into this lock.
Ya. Ya.
See? Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And
Eso no era, pero
just
importa.
like that, we can unlock their future.
Yes, yes. Wow! Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Tremendo.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
No.
This one? Oh, so you're right.
¿Qué es esto,
Here it
weón?
is.
Ya. Era una carta.
My granddaughter, Brenda, she says she got an A on her maths
Épico.
exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
What's up, losers?
Oh.
Oh, no. It's Brad. He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right. I just got here on my motorbike.
Clear
No.
off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No. Ruffians.
Rufianes.
Have you come
Alto y
to
rufián.
tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way. I've actually come to pin my
He
resume.
venido a colgar mi culo con el tablón.
I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What? Did you say tutoring?
That's right. Maths is very important. Would you mind, Ray?
Las matemáticas son muy importantes, weón.
Not at all.
Dejó la mano pegada y Ay, Dios
So
mío.
you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for
Gastando
months.
Well, blow me down!
Se le cae
Do you
el
know
moral.
what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No doy.
So it
Oh.
wasn't you who vandalized
Oh, no.
my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I
Brenda.
did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray.
¿Qué?
Oh, what the heck?
¿Qué está
Give us a
pasando?
hug.
¿Qué? ¿Terremoto? ¿Qué? ¿What? ¿Qué? ¿Qué pasó?
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of the notice board, but we are receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we are picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be...
Oh no.
What appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major foreign cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into... they put them into millions. I'm being told we're experiencing some power shortages as a result, so apologies for the interruption. And apparently we can go live now to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julian Salisbury any moment. Yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent. We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres and will not hesitate to detonate
We are hearing stories of power fluctuations and what could be minor earthquakes throughout the continent. Stand by. We've lost contact with our benefactors in Urkistan and Konoslava. All our equipment seems to be resetting. Can we get this confirmed? Can we get this verified? I need this verified.
Now our borders. Your people are our people. They will finally be fed and clothed and educated and healed. But for your privileged few, the moment that they feared is now upon them.
Oh no, nuestro gobierno es peor que la Alemania nazi, weón.
Clear. If you fire a single shot at our territory or harm a single one of our citizens, we will not hesitate to detonate further devices. You will not find them, though no doubt you are already searching for them. Our technology is decades
Jake no solo tenía razón. No es un loco.
We will expect your complete acceptance of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you.
I don't really talk about my personal life in my job. It's not relevant or important. So many of you may be surprised to learn that I have a brother. His name is David. And right now I can't get his stupid face out of my head.
Oh no.
He's a researcher and he's currently travelling the continent for work. And I don't know where he is right now.
Puta.
And I should imagine that there are many of you sitting at home tonight digesting this news, and you also have loved ones on the continent. In Urkistan, or Havia, or San Palmerino, or...
Encima, ¿verdad que la hija?
Or Konoslava, which is where David was.
Es verdad que nuestra hija estaba allá, po.
So when I tell you, I know how you are feeling tonight. Believe me, I do.
Se me había olvidado la chucha.
But I also know that there's a flow to events.
Estaba en San Bernardino y justamente fue el lugar donde bombardearon.
Tonight it feels like we may be in a time of fear and darkness. We may actually be at the break of a new dawn. We don't know that yet. We can't know that yet. But together we will find out. And I will be here every night, feeling what you are feeling. And with your help, maybe we can all get to that brave new world. My name's Megan Wolf. Let's make tomorrow better.
And we're out.
Me dio el dolor más encima.
We've got people ringing around, but the telephone networks are overloaded. Okay. We'll find him.
Do we know exactly exactly which cities were hit or...
Megan. We will find him.
Haz del mañana mejor, me dio un logro más encima en Steam. Digo, pobre. El canal ya ni me quiere, monstruo. ¿Se puede saber cómo sigo trabajando si no me quiere el canal? Ahora tengo que ir a buscar a mi gato que está aquí afuera, está arriba en el techo. Así que voy a dejar el stream hasta acá. Pero voy a seguir con esto mañana, ¿eh? Mañana seguimos. O sea, se termina este juego. Vamos a terminarlo. Sé que dura como 9 horas. Eso me dijo Cide. Y me dijo que es un juego largo. Así que está entretenido, la verdad. Obviamente no esperaba estas. No espero nada. De hecho, como digo, este juego me lo estoy spoileando con ustedes, ¿verdad? Así que nos vamos a ir donde la Princlass hoy día. Mañana, si es que está conectada la Carito, le hacemos la raya. Así que nada, gente. Saludos Ardet, como dicen algunos. Muchas gracias, Gabona. Hostias, que tengan una buena semana. Pero antes que nada, vamos con esto. Lo que queda tú no te lo vas a hacer en la visión mornal. O sea, tu cabeza persona otra vez la misma palabra. Los trabajadores avanzan de detonar unas bombas nucleares. Alcanza el 1.000.000. Aparcas en la entrada sin recuerdo alguno de los sucedidos desde el trayecto. La dura habitación está encendida, alguien despierto. Abre la puerta y te encuentras en el sofá. Marte se tira la mano. Te acercas, gozas de la vista más clara de su mirada. Nunca antes lo había visto así. Chris y Susie están... No sé qué hacemos. ¿Qué dice podemos hacer? Los muy desalmados quedaron con Chris y Susie con millones de personas más. Todo por la puta guerra que nunca pedimos. Le haríamos dar paso a una rabia interior que jamás había visto en Sam. Los odio, Alex. Sé que nunca has mirado a Advance precisamente, pero han demostrado ser monstruos. Para mí es importante que no entiendan. Podemos quedar en el brazo. Hay que hacer algo. No le voy a decir eso, pues, weón. No. Vamos con la tercera. Vamos a intentar hacer algo. No pienso, pero no se deja caer sobre que te las quitamos peso de encima. No creo que lo dijera todo, sino acaban de morir los dos niños, weón. O sea, ¿qué esperáis, weón? No, es como muy sano en verdad la situación. Ah, y efectivamente mueren, chucha. La última semana... A ver, la última vez no. La última semana pasado volando. Tenías un montón de cosas que hacer, pero las olvidaste por completo. Tus recuerdos están convencidos borrosos. El pasado es 9 días de supuesta generación, perdón. Y entre el comienzo del nuevo futuro de Advance. La iglesia ya está aborotada a tu llegada. Te comió la cantidad de gente que acudió para ayudar tu viva pérdida. Todos por el mismo motivo. Compartido su mismo dolor. La misma sensación de crimen. Tus caras lo dicen todos. Has perdido a tu pequeña Susie y a Chris. Ah, verdad que Chris estaba ahí. Verdad. Han hablado mucho de que aquella noche, pero ¿quién eres tú para juzgar eso? Tampoco ha estado mucho mejor. Aparece Sam y te aprieta las manos con fuerza en un acto de desesperación buscando consuelo y te vuelve de apretón. En el fondo no puedo evitar preguntarte si has tenido parte de la culpa. Es que ni siquiera había ataúdes que enterrar. Sí, pues es terrible una emergencia nuclear, pues hermano. Es horrible, me imagino, weón. ¿Cuánto tiempo pasó? ¿Como 2 años? Éxodo académico. A ver. En lo que parecía una mañana normal, al llegar a trabajar te vas con un pequeño grupo de personas a la sala de descanso. Cuando vas por tu té sin querer escuchar algo que te llama la atención. ¿No lo sabías? Pues sí, ha desaparecido otra persona. Van como 7 desapariciones. Una joven agitada te mira y espeta. Han desaparecido otro profesor de la Universidad de Queensview. El año pasado desaparecieron varios científicos, médicos e investigadores. Hace una pausa para susurrarte. Disrupción está yendo por la gente que se pronuncia en su contra. Hasta me he enterado que Advance está haciendo todo lo posible por... A ver, ¿qué pasó? Bosman se aclara la garganta antes de continuar. Te lo he dicho antes, no quiero oír lo de las desapariciones. Venga ya, chicos, Advance ha demostrado que es de fiar. Vamos, que no son un problema, y a menos que ahora los capuchinos se consideren ser intelectuales, no creo que nadie aquí deba preocuparse. De ser mejor que volver al trabajo. A ver, sé que sueles hacer lo que se te viene a la gana, pero va siendo hora que pares. Advance es la que manda y ha evidenciado lo que quiere. La postura oficial de cada alumno es que el gobierno tiene controlada la situación, ni más ni menos. Espero que sea la última vez. Ok. Yo creo que hora ya de ser unos rebeldes nomás, bueno. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué es lo peor que nos puede pasar? Matarnos. Ya perdimos todo, ya a esta altura perdimos los niños, perdimos a mi cuñado, perdí mi pasaporte. ¿Qué más puedo perder, bueno, la señora? Que también está por la causa, así que en el fondo no pierdo nada. Ah, verdad que me queda el hijo, weón. Y el hijo está totalmente a favor de que haya muerto la hermana, ¿eh? Mi paciente tamborilea sobre el volante en espera de nuevo a Charlie. Es bueno que lo esté pasando bien los cadetes de cohesión y tenga tanto entusiasmo. Pero hace falta que se quede a ayudar semana sí, semana también. No puede evitar devolverte la sonrisa. La frustración que sentía se desvanece al ver que rebosa felicidad. Puede pedirse a sus amigos con un abrazo, a los giles brazos obviamente. Alguien se acerca al coche y entra con su cara a la verdadera representación de entusiasmo. ¿Qué tal? Interrumpe, pero después de instalar en competencia, acto sigue espeta aún. ¿Sabes qué? Pues para convertirse en ACC hay que empezar como cadete cohesión. Por eso nos han dado un empujón al postular. Habla Charlie con entusiasmo, nota que tiene tanta ganas de hablar que sus palabras se pisan unas con las otras. Al parecer, a partir del año que viene, el 5% de los mejores cadetes participarán en un programa especial que les permitirá ascender a gestores de cohesión comunitaria. Oh, ya que no sabes quién estará. Y buena noticia, hay que ser el hijo de puta, hay que ser unar. Me puso una sonrisa oreja a oreja que se retirara el asiento. Sí, qué bien que me haya unido, se lo tengo que contar a todo el mundo. Lanzas una carcajada, creo que esto hay que celebrarlo. ¿Y si pedimos algo para comer el camino a casa? Esperando. Vamos a hacer realmente un Jojo Rabbit, pues nosotros somos los malos, los buenos. Y Jojo Rabbit va a ser como de los cadetes nazis. Es como exactamente, estamos siendo literalmente parte de Jojo Rabbit, weón. La diferencia es que yo soy el protagonista de la Scarlett Johansson acá, no el niñito. Al despertarse, puta, esto sí, al despertarse sorprende ver a Sam a tu lado. Anoche llegó nada tanto después de que se iba a tomar algo con otros profes del colegio. Decidí dejar que duerma toda la mañana porque se descanse. Con la casa en silencio, de llevarse el desayuno al salón para ver la tele. A ver. Noticia de último momento. Anoche se produjo un incendio en varios sectores amplios de la granja, como la gran comuna. Como consecuencia de un atroz ataque terrorista organizado por parte de un grupo denominado Disrupción, tal como informan las autoridades. Cara. Además de las tiendas de alimentación que según fuentes gubernamentales sobrecargarán los centros de menú universales de todo el mundo, varios ACC y centros públicos fueron atacados anoche. Según Julia, los criminales saltaron a colocar carteles de instalaciones de mejor rehabilitación. Liberaron a individuos problemáticos pero potencialmente peligrosos y custodia. Por desgracia, dada la falta de capacidad por parte de la ACC, Disrupción logró imponerse gracias a su excelente organización. Murieron 17 ACC y 4 miembros de la administración. Bueno, ahí está, que tuvieron algunos cuantos. La llaman la noche de fuego. Estamos en peligro, ¿verdad? Todo saldrá bien, chavalín. Y ahora sí creo que en el momento que empezamos a transmitir se cierra, tenemos juego prohibido. Para darle una raid a alguien, ¿ya? Está entretenido el juego. Me parece que este sí es señal de emisión. Así que nada, gente. Muchas gracias, ahora sí que sí, por quedarse, por estar aquí, por tener una linda vida. No caigan en bombas nucleares en la ciudad de la noche de la... Un año y medio de la noche de la liberación. ¿Y lo escucho? Sí, sí. ¿Qué? Alan James tenía razón.
I'll be talking to you regularly tonight, and I'll also be hacking in when I can. Please help get our message out. We're on the verge, Alex. You've always been fair and balanced in your approach to us. With your help,
Qué grande Alan Jones. Nos quiere Alan Jones, man. Un puto, pero nos quiere.
if you play our tape at the second break, that's when we think it will have the most impact. It's on your right.
Vale. Vale. Ah, este. ¿Ah? No hay señal, ya, pero dejémoslo hasta aquí. Ya, gente, ahora sí, fue un placer. Nos vamos para la Print Class. Que tengan una linda semana, gente. Saludines. Besitos. Saludos. Cuídense y tengan una linda semana. Chao.
Good evening. I'm
Sí, se escucha.